What's up, your Comic Sans lovers? Whether you are a graphic designer or not, you are probably aware of a kind of a war that's going on since ever about the Microsoft versus Apple computers for graphic designers. For some reason, graphic designers love to say that Apple computers are better for designers, but most of them don't know why. In this video, we are going to cover whether or not Apple computers are actually better for graphic designers. The Microsoft lovers are always saying that you can have a much better performance for a much lower price. But nowadays, every computer are so fast, and does it really matter if the performance is amazingly better, or is it really better? Well, this war happens mainly because, at least in paper, the hardware of Microsoft's computers, the PCs, are actually faster because they have better processors, they have better GPUs and RAM and so on. And the price that you would have to pay for a Mac with the same specs, you would need to spend much more money. Normally, designers are always saying that they want an Apple computer because all other designers are using the Apple computers, and they normally say they like it or it's better for designers, but they are never able to answer the main question: why is it better? Okay, so everything that I'm going to say to you right now from this moment on, it's my sincere and personal opinion. Don't take it like a law, don't take it like it is the only truth. This is my opinion and my point of view on this war. And to make it easier for you to understand my point of view, I'm going to make a comparison with the world of the video games. Yes, I know that this has nothing to do with computers for graphic designers or anything like that, but I guarantee that you are going to understand it much better just because of this weird comparison that I'm going to do. Well, this similar war that's going on the video game world is the Xbox versus PlayStation. I'm not including the PC Master Race on this topic. That, for those who doesn't know, the PC Master Race is the site that says that PC beats Xbox and PlayStation, but I'm not going to include them here on this war. And in the current generation of consoles, and also in the upcoming one that's going to be released on probably November or December of this year, 2020, in one side of the coin, all the Xbox lovers are always saying that the Xbox is faster and the price is the same. You have much more performance on the Xbox side than you have in the PlayStation side. And the Sony fans from PlayStation, they are always saying, okay, you are faster, your performance is better, but does it really matter? In the end of the conversation, the console that's being the best seller is the PlayStation. And are you saying that most of people are dumb because they buy a console that has a worse performance for the same price? So are you saying that everybody is just dumb and everybody is making the wrong choice? Actually, the PlayStation fans have a very good excuse to be buying the PlayStation instead of the Xbox. They always say that performance doesn't matter if the games are not the best. And I agree with this because the result is that PlayStation is selling better than Xbox in this current generation. Because when it comes to the final result, everything that matters is actually the games, because we play for the games. And this is why PlayStation is selling more, because the games, the exclusives, the games that are only available for PlayStation are much better than the exclusives that are only available for Xbox. Because guess what? Most of the good games that you can play on Xbox, you can also play on PlayStation. Of course, this is going to rely on your taste for the games, but let's be honest here. The amount of good exclusives that's making some kind of great impact in the current generation are more turned for the PlayStation side. So what I like to make a comparison here is, in the Xbox side, you had a better performance, a better hardware to play your games, so you could play your games with slightly better graphics. But in the PlayStation hand, you had better games, better software. What would it matter if you had a car like a Ferrari that can reach 300 kilometers per hour if you are living in a city where you are not allowed to go like over 120 kilometers per hour, or even if you are in a city where you are in constant traffic jams? The Ferrari has no use for you if you are in those countries where you can't speed up, a Ferrari is pretty much useless for you because it's just for status or just to say that you have the faster one. The performance in many cases doesn't matter. And this is where the conversation starts to converge in the universe of the Microsoft versus Apple. For some strange reason, Microsoft is in both of the great wars. The designers and the consoles. That's odd, at least. The exclusive software for Apple and for Microsoft, they are different. I used to work with Mac in the past, like 7-8 years ago, but I stopped working with Macs just because in the past I used CorelDRAW, that was exclusive software for Windows. And as I didn't have CorelDRAW at the time for Mac, I just started using much more on my PC than my Mac. So time after time, I was using less and less the Mac and more the Microsoft computer that I had. And I ended up not using for months and my Mac was just there taking dust. So I decided to sell it and I sold it and I just used my PC because I used Photoshop and CorelDRAW at the same time. Vector I was creating on the PC, on the Windows PC, and when I needed to use Photoshop, I went to my Mac. But I realized that in that time, like 8 years ago, it was harder to share files between computers than it is nowadays. So what I did was I started using even Photoshop only on my PC because it's just faster to do everything on the same machine instead of just create one thing here and then put on a pen drive or an external hard drive, import in the other computer. And in the end, I had to do the other way around. So this is why I abandoned Apple, because of the software that I was using at the time, it was not available for Mac. So this is why I dropped my Mac for a PC. But in the present, the conversation turned the other way around. In this moment, I would love to try GarageBand, Logic Pro, also Final Cut Pro, and other software that are exclusive for Macs. There's also a software that is used to create fonts, glyphs, that is also exclusive of Macs, and I can't use it right now because I don't have a Mac. And this conversation doesn't end here, because when you have a software that was especially developed for a platform, it's going to be much better than a multi-platform. And you can do a comparison if you have both a top-notch computer, Mac and PC, and you have Premiere and Final Cut Pro. You are going to make the same edit on both software. You are going to export them with similar value computers, one from Apple and one from any brand that makes Windows computers. And you are going to notice that Final Cut Pro exports much faster than Premiere if you use them on Mac. And this sentence makes no sense because you only can use it on Mac. So it's just because in the end of the conversation, what matters is what software is exclusive for each one. Because if you have a multi-platform like Adobe, it doesn't really matter. If you want to try exclusive software, you are obliged to buy a computer from that brand. Are Apple computers better than Windows computers for graphic designers? It will depend. It will depend if you are interested in using the exclusive software for those operating systems. If you are not interested in exclusive apps for one or the other, there will be no better. Unless you are talking about a multi-function computer where you play lots of games on it. For sure, I have no doubt if you are playing on your computer, Windows computers are going to be much better for you. I even ran a test, I think it was 2 years ago, with a friend of mine. I had just bought a 1,200 euros Windows laptop, and a friend of mine had just bought a Mac laptop with the same price, and we ran the same exporting of the same video that I edited on my computer, and we accessed the same folder on Dropbox, and we both at the same time made the same render of the same video with the same version of Premiere, and her computer ended the render of the video around 10 to 12 seconds earlier than mine. I don't know how is that possible, because all the specs on my computer were much higher than hers, and even though it seems like the software is much better optimized for Mac than it is for Windows. So in my opinion, this proves that if you are a graphic designer, if you are dealing with video, if you are dealing with Illustrator, Photoshop, or other graphic design software, I think Apple is going to be much better for you, because everything was born for Mac and they migrated to Windows. So what you normally have for Windows are ports from software that initially were developed for Apple computers. And this is why I think that it's better, though I have a PC. And this is not a cheap PC. I could buy a very good Mac with the price that I paid for this PC. But in my case, I just bought this PC because I work a lot with 3D design, and 3D design, in my opinion, it is where Windows PCs still better than Apple PCs. I don't know if I can call Macs Apple PCs, but you got the idea. What brings us to the final part of this video. As you may already know from the past video, from the last video that I made about the Apple Pencil, I just bought an iPad Pro, and definitely I discovered that Apple is trying to torture me. They're trying to see if I go mad before I receive the actual iPad, because I didn't receive it yet. And I already have the Apple Pencil, and you can see all the jokes that I made about it on the last video. But not satisfied with this, what did they do? They sent me the Apple Magic Keyboard. Samsung tablet right here. It fits perfectly. I actually think if I keep this way for too long, it may explode. A Samsung tablet with Apple case, Apple keyboard. What the hell am I doing with my life? So just to close this subject, if you want to know if for you as a designer or as a content creator, an Apple computer is better for you or not, just think about the exclusives. Just think of what you can do on a Windows PC that you can't do on an Apple computer. And forget about the thing of one having the better performance than the other and one have a better software optimization so it doesn't need so much horsepower to power the software, and the other blah 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 and the other blah blah blah. No. Microsoft is better. No, Apple is better. Forget about it, please. There's no better, there's no winner. Each one is better for specific situations, and each one is better for specific people. What is better for you, it's not better for everyone. So let's stop the violence, stop the hate. Let's just leave everyone in love and harmony with our differences, and with Microsoft and with Apple that are both doing a great job. And if you want more content like this with a chill vibe for graphic designers and content creators, don't forget to subscribe, to drop a like, and to ring the bell. And I'm going to tell you a secret right now. I heard that if you don't subscribe to this channel, the next 5 works that you send for your client, all the fonts are going to be replaced by Comic Sans when you send it. And you are not going to be able to do anything. It's going to be Comic Sans everywhere. Thanks for being here with me, and see you in the next video.